Support for this podcast comes from Neutrogena Hydro Boost. Does your day last all day? Keep your skin dewy, soft, and smooth all day. New Neutrogena Hyaluronic Acid Serum quenches skin with 2 sizes of hyaluronic acid, dermatologist-recommended glycerin, and vitamin B5. Just apply in the morning for fragrance-free hydration that seals it in for 24 hours. Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hyaluronic Acid Serum. Stay dewy, soft, and drenched in hydration. Learn more at Neutrogena.com.
Empire.
Hello and welcome to my podcast sponsored by Lono Coffee. Visit lonocoffee.com. Use promo code COFFEE2020 for a discount. It will get you through the holidays. Today, I have a special interview with Washington head coach Ron Rivera. You might have seen the story I wrote about him on ESPN.com earlier in the week about his cancer treatments, his recovery, and the medical community that helped him. Some of this interview was used in the video along with the story and also shown on Outside the Lines. Rivera opened up about his treatments and how close he came to having to stop coaching. I will have another podcast before the game talking about the 49ers and a few nuggets I picked up this week, but I wanted to keep the Rivera conversation separate. He was very good. Also, I've made this offer before and some of you have taken me up on it. If you're going through a hard time with the pandemic, the virus, and the holidays, etc., I'd be happy to serve as a distraction for a few minutes by talking Washington football via Zoom. I know it's not going to cure anything, but if I can distract you for a few minutes, I'd like to help. Just hit me up on Twitter at John_Kine. And with that, here's my conversation with Washington coach Ron Rivera.
As you look back, can you believe that you never had to stop to take a break from coaching?
Honestly, yeah, I guess so. You know, it's interesting because I've learned so much more about it. And I've told the story before to others that when Stephanie and I sat down one day with the doctors, you know, they both told me, you know, we were talking and they both said, well, you know, I said, well, can I work? And they said, yeah, if you can get to work, you know, it's important. You know, the more you can work, the better. So I thought that was the norm. That's what you're supposed to do. So when I finished my treatments, both doctors said to me, wow, what you did was pretty amazing. I said, what are you talking about? And they said, well, you worked, you didn't miss games. You know, you made almost all your practices. That was pretty amazing. And I said, well, I thought that was the norm. And they said, well, no, not really. So, you know, we have a lot of guys, a lot of our patients will, you know, they'll miss a week or two of work. You know, a few of them end up, you know, having to stay in the hospital a little bit. But what you did was pretty, and I didn't realize that that's not the norm. And so I just kind of worked through it. And I had a tremendous support staff behind me, not just at the hospital, but here at Washington Football Team's Park. I mean, you know, it was great because so many people were there to help me, support me, and help me get through this.
Were you ever close to having to say, I can't go this week?
Yes, I was. I had I had one day that was really, really tough. It was probably 1 week after my second cycle of chemo. It was 5, 10, 15, 20. It was around my 20th proton treatment. And just the accumulation of everything, I think, really got to me. I had come in to get an IV, and I was feeling really bad. I got the IV, and I felt honestly really worse. And so Stephanie took me home, and I went right to bed. I hadn't eaten. I didn't eat lunch. I slept right on through. I slept through dinner, and I was not moving. I was just laying there. And Stephanie called the team doctor, and he got on the phone, and he got on me pretty good about having to get up, having to eat, having to force myself to do those things. And so when he got off the phone, Stephanie let me have it. She got after me really good and got me downstairs. So I get downstairs to eat. Then my daughter, Courtney, who's staying with us right now, she got after me. And she got on me pretty good and was, you know, really, I think, more worried about my health than really wanting to get after me. But she felt bad and just got into me really good. And then she left. And then my dog, our dog, who had realized I'm in trouble, he came over and he nudged me and he walked away. So I realized that I had to eat. So I ate and went right back to bed. That next day when I woke up, I felt really good. It made me realize how important it is to eat. And that was really it. That Tuesday, I didn't know if I could keep going. But with the support, with the people pushing me, the people getting after me, quite honestly, made me realize I had to, and that I think really helped me get through everything, the realization how important it is to eat.
Well, also along those lines too, because one of the doctors told me that there are studies that show that if you have a strong spousal support and a daughter, how much difference it makes in your recovery. I guess you saw that.
Yes. Well, at the end of it, Dr. Bajaj, the proton therapy radiologist, he told us, he was telling me the story. He said, yeah, there's these things that tell you that a man that has a very strong spousal support gets through this very well. He said, and there's even a study that shows that if he has a daughter that's helping him, he'll get through it even better, because for whatever reason, the daughters tend to really take care of their dads, their daddies. And so, me, almost daily, my daughter, Courtney, would take me, to get my therapy, my proton therapy, and then bring me to Redskins Park. And sometimes when I saw the doctors, she was with me, and she was making sure we got all the information. Courtney asked all the right questions, and she was there. She really was tremendous. And she filled in when Stephanie couldn't be there for the most part.
What was it like lying on a table with that immobilizer mask on there? And I can't imagine. I've gone through MRIs. That's hard to do that 5 days a week with that immobilizer on. What was that experience like?
I'll tell you what, the very first day I did it, it was a full day event. We were there for over almost about 14 hours because I had to do the chemo. Then I had my first proton treatment where they locked me in with that mask. And it was a very, very eerie feeling. And I promise you, if you're claustrophobic, you got no chance. And I didn't really have a real episode with it until about a week later. I was kind of thinking about it, and for whatever reason, I just couldn't breathe, and I had to give the signal, so they had to come quickly unlock me. I went to go see my oncologist that day, Dr. Deacon. After I saw Dr. Deacon, I went back to do it, and I had to, keep thinking to myself, okay, we're doing this. We're doing this to beat this cancer. We're doing this to whip it. We're getting after the body. Let's go. Come on, mind. Let's go. And I had to talk to myself, just to push myself through it. But I'll tell you that day, my throat got dry. I couldn't breathe. It just felt so uncomfortable. But I talked myself through it, because I'm telling you, when you first see it, you see this table and you see this big machine and all the stuff that goes around it, and it goes and the thing that shoots the beam out rotates around you, and it just feels like everything closes in. But I had to convince myself and talk to myself and make myself realize that this is important. We're doing this to eradicate this cancer. I mean, those are the things that I thought about as I did it. So from that point on, every time I hear that first lock going into place, my first thought is, all right, here we go. We're getting after it. Let's go. Come on, body. We're going to kick its ass. Let's go. I mean, that's what I really thought.
You're tapping into your days as a player when you do that, right?
Well, it's funny, because the thing that I talk to our players about every day is you control your attitude. Okay, the way you look at things, you control it. Nobody else controls the way you look at things and how you approach them. It's about your attitude. And you know how many of my former players sent me, little texts about that? All right, coach, hey, you got to have the right attitude. Let's go. I mean, I had several guys do that to me and remind me, and it was important. And I'll tell you another thing too. John, one of the things that's really amazing, and I tell this to people when they ask you, hey, what can we do? I said, send me a note, send me a text message or an email. I got these things daily from different people, a little text message, a little email, a voicemail or something telling me, hey, coach, good luck. Hey, Ron, focus in. Hey, Ron, get better. Getting one of those from anybody is really comforting. It really is. Just a well wish. It doesn't matter who it's from, but just getting that daily, that really lifts your spirits.
You brought up too the swallowing part. How hard was it to swallow, and how hard does it still hurt to swallow?
It does still hurt. I saw Dr. Lee. She's considered one of the best in the area, thank goodness. And I saw her, and she asked me about it. And I told her, I said, this is hard. And that day, my worst day, when they got me up, and I went downstairs, and I ate as much as I could as far as dinner was concerned. It hurt, and I had to pause each time I swallowed. I would drink water real quickly to try and soothe it, and it was difficult. But I realized that I had to. There was no choice. Now, it changed the food I ate in terms of, like, for breakfast, I had pancakes, but to help me swallow it, I had probably what amounted to about 3 cups of syrup on the 2 pancakes I got to soften them up as much as I can and to help me swallow. And it was the same thing at lunch. I would eat, I would chew, and I was drinking water. Quite honestly, water tasted terrible at the time. And the only 2 things that I could really, truly drink were root beer and Mountain Dew. For whatever reason, those 2 things tasted normal, and those 2 things helped me eat from that point on. And I would drink one of those 2 for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to help me get food down. And it's interesting because it's like you got sores in your mouth and your throat, and if you eat anything that's citrusy, that has acidic acid in it, it burns. I mean, it's a tough feeling, and it was hard. And anything that had spice, I mean, it had the littlest pepper, ketchup, little things. And what's crazy is one of the foods that helped me get through this was Taco Bell tacos, for whatever reason. How we would, Stephanie asked me what I want for dinner, and I'd say Taco Bell. And we'd go get 2 tacos, and I would eat them. And those really helped me get through, whether it was breakfast, whether it was lunch or dinner, I was doing the Taco Bell thing.
Taco Bell will appreciate that. Besides just treating you and the cancer, how else did that cancer community help you, just even in your little daily interactions?
Oh, just the support, just the positivity of everybody that's there. From the people that check your temperature and ask you the question, are you feeling well? Have you been in contact with anybody who has COVID? This is how positive they were when you came in. I'd walk through those doors through the parking lot, and it was, good morning, how are you today? And then they'd ask the questions. And then I'd walk in, and Miss Linda, who was a receptionist, and she would greet me, and she'd always say something positive. She was great. To the phlebotomist, the people that that drew my blood. In fact, one of them was a Cowboy fan, so we had a little rivalry going there. That was cool. To the people that actually gave me my treatments, they were great. They really were, and their positive attitudes, their support, that they gave you, trying to make sure you were comfortable, trying to make sure you were okay. See if we needed anything. To when I did my chemo treatments, the nurses and all the technicians up there were just unbelievable. I mean, their attitude, I think, is the thing that helps you and helps you get through this. There was a little story about there was a little boy that was finishing up his therapy, and he's a Nats fan, and he got into the whole Baby Shark thing from the World Series championship, and so the support staff, you guys saw when I rang the bell and there was that little parade of people. Well, they were going to do the same thing for this little fella. And so they were practicing the Baby Shark song. And so my daughter, Courtney, was explaining to me, the song, because I had an appointment with Dr. Bajaj that day. And so she was showing me how to do the Baby Shark and do the Mama Shark and do the Daddy Shark and the Grandpa. And so when they were practicing, I came out and I kind of joined in a little bit. So everybody had a little bit of fun about that. But that just shows you, you know, that here's this little guy getting ready to finish his last treatment and get to ring the bell, and they were going to parade him with the Baby Shark song. I mean, so it was a powerful thing. To me, it really was, because it just shows you how much these folks care about you. And that to me, I think really helps.
Hey, I'm Kat Lasso.
I'm Xavier Jernigan.
And I'm Speedy Mormon, and together we're the hosts of Spotify's new morning show, The Get Up.
Every day we're bringing you the biggest news stories and pop culture headlines.
Ooh, and the conversations you need to be in on.
Okay.
Don't worry, if you're not a morning person, we're doing the work for you. So just search The Get Up, hit play, and listen up for everything you need to know.
With a playlist made just for you.
Listen now for free, only on Spotify.
The proton therapist too, because one of the things they talked about along those lines was the music they would play during your treatments. Yes. And I would always ask, well, was there a favorite song? They said, not really, but we went from contemporary to today's hits. But they said every once in a while they'd see your toes tapping. So what did that music mean to you? And like, were there some songs that you said, this song just helps me relax?
There really wasn't a song that helped me relax. Just the music itself helps you to relax. Because it lasts anywhere from 15 to 22 minutes, I think. So, if once I got through 5 songs, I thought, okay, we're done. We're almost done. We're almost finished. And sometimes the music would get you, tapping your toes. And it was kind of neat, because they played today's hits. They played some of the contemporary music. They played some music from back in the day. So it was really kind of cool. And they played country western one time. And, just the music, I think, is what really helps you to relax.
How much weight did you lose during this period?
A little over, right around 30 pounds.
Wow, okay.
I actually got down below my playing weight. My playing weight back in the day was 238, and I think I actually got down at one time to 232. Which put me at about 36 pounds down from what I started.
And do you have to do exercises now for your neck and for swallowing still, or is that?
Yes. Whenever I'm not doing anything, I'm stretching my neck, and I'm swallowing as much as I can. I'm stretching my jaw, because these muscles up here, right through here, they get some of the proton beam that goes through.
And then I just have like 2 more questions. So I appreciate your time again. With the swallowing too, we see the spit cup. And I had an editor who went through what you went through, and he would say like just the crud that builds up in your throat and how hard it is. And he said that he would just end up filling up almost a cup of all that. What is that like? I mean, how would you describe that?
Well, it's a horrible feeling because I couldn't control it. And I had spit cups everywhere, through my office, around the facility, in my car, at my house. And you guys saw me when I would do the interviews with you guys. I mean, I just couldn't control it. And the saliva would just build up and you'd have to spit. And one of the things that they have is they have this little mouthwash rinse that they tell you to make. It's baking soda and salt. And that constantly helps keeps your mouth clean, because you get the sores, and you don't want them to get infected. So you're constantly trying to clean, and Stephanie made me all these little packets. So wherever I went, all I needed was a bottle of water, 8 ounces of water, and just pour this mix in. And I have one in my bathroom over here. I have one in my locker. I mean, so I'm constantly trying to do that. And it helps because, like I said, Courtney was always there. Courtney's always have you rinsed? Did you rinse enough? You need to rinse some more. Let's go. Come on. I mean, she was constantly on me, as is my operations director here. Paul would constantly come in and make sure. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever see it, but on the sideline, he's constantly handing me water or Gatorade. I'll drink the Gatorade, I'll drink the water, I'll rinse with the water during the game.
And the other thing that struck the doctors was how much you basically gave up power and control. You're a you're in charge of a team, an organization, but they said you were willing to right away put your trust in them. Why? I know this isn't your area of expertise, but it's also not easy for people to give up that kind of power and control. Why did you feel like you could do that? And was that a difficult thing for you to do?
No, because they're the experts. We put our trust in people daily. I mean, you step onto an airplane. Do you really know the pilot? No, but you're trusting him. You're believing in him. Well, it's the same thing when you go see a doctor. Do you know him? No, but these guys are the experts, and that's why. And so, trusting Dr. Lee, trusting Dr. Bajaj, trusting Dr. Deacon was very easy for me because that's the way I looked at it. They're the experts, and I got to put my trust in them, and they're going to do the best they can. I mean, whatever they wanted me to do, I was going to do. I was going to follow the direction and get this eradicated.
I'm sorry, I had one more because I did want, this one is important, I'm sure for you too. And I appreciate you're giving me more time than I think I probably asked for. Okay, well, the last one I want to ask about, you had a brother who went through a cancer situation. When you're going through this, you knew early on that your prognosis was good.
Yep.
How often would you think of him during this? Like when you're getting on the table and all that, how often would you think of that?
I would think of Mickey daily. I've got, some pictures in the house. I got some pictures here in the office. And, it's one of those things that, you almost feel guilty because I was fortunate. I found it early. Mickey had pancreatic cancer, and the signs don't come until the 3rd and 4th stage. And so, because there's not an early test for it right now. And so when Mickey, was diagnosed, I really didn't know a lot about it. But the further along Mickey went, and the more research I did, the more realization that this was going to be really tough. And when you see what people go through that have, his type of cancer, or find find cancer late, it's devastating. So I thought about Mickey daily. It's hard because I don't know. I was fortunate. I was blessed, and I think this is part of when I've said I would like to be an advocate. I would like to, because healthcare is so important, and we're the richest country in the world, and for us to have a healthcare system that needs to be fixed, that needs to be better than it is wrong. And it shouldn't be partisan. It really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be one-sided. In this country, for us to have people bickering about healthcare for our citizens, that's crap. That really is. I mean, we hired these people. We chose these people to do a job, and they need to take care of our citizens. And that's kind of what I've learned, because, I saw what our deductible is, and we can pay that, but there are people out there that can't, and they've got to make a decision on, the types of treatments they get, the type of medicines they can afford. Man, there's something wrong about that. But I spent a lot of time thinking about Mick, and it's the hardest thing for me during this whole time, other than telling my family, was having to tell my mom, because she didn't deserve to go through this twice. And but hopefully things continue to go well.
Let's hope for that. And you got me choked up here. So, but I appreciate your time. That's a good place to end. And, I think that becomes a powerful statement for people to read and to see and to feel, because I think they can feel that. So I appreciate it, and I hope I don't make your day harder by asking these things. So.
No, I think you made my day better, John. I think you really did, because I really do believe that we as a country, and I really do mean this, we need to take care of our own.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, thank you, Ron, and we'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, it's Elaine Welteroth, and I'm hosting a new podcast called Built to Last by American Express, where we will dive deep into the stories, history, and continued legacy of small businesses that shape American culture. Our debut season will focus on Black-owned small businesses that need our support now more than ever. In each episode, we feature the story of a Black business trailblazer that has inspired a modern Black-owned business. First up is Pinky Cole of Atlanta's food truck turned restaurant, Slutty Vegan. We'll also chat with Hanifa Mwemba, the cutting-edge designer behind the Hanifa 3D digital fashion show. Plus, we'll check in with Issa Rae, our modern-day Renaissance woman. We hope that it encourages all of our listeners to support these businesses as well as the Black-owned businesses in your own communities. Tune in for these amazing stories and others on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
You've heard me talking about Lono Coffee for a couple months now. Let me tell you a little bit about who they are and what they're about. Lono Coffee is based in the Shenandoah Valley, just a nice bunch of people who are open for business during this trying time. Just look at their website, lonocoffee.com, and what do they highlight? Their core values of quality, family, transparency. They work with co-op farmers from all over the world to source their beans. They also support small farmers to find the right beans. During this pandemic, one of my saving graces has been grinding my beans from Lono Coffee and taking a few minutes before the day to savor the coffee, get my mind right. Put a little jazz or Frank Sinatra or Louis Armstrong on in the background, it's even better. I've enjoyed all their blends, but among my favorites, the Ethiopian Guji, love the berry flavor, the Mexican Chiapas, and their house blend. Start your day off right with Lono Coffee. Visit lonocoffee.com, that's LONEOAK coffee.com. Use promo code COFFEE2020 for a discount. You can thank me later. That's it for this episode. I'll be back Friday with another quick episode to get you ready for what has become a big game for Washington. Some deep insight with ESPN 49ers reporter Nick Wagner. Meaningful games in December. Who would have guessed? Thanks to Ron Rivera for joining me, and thank you for listening. Thanks as always to Lono Coffee. Talk to you Friday.